When you're creating a new quilt, you can now use one of Pre-Quilt's starter quilts to get you started. So for this video, we're going to take the Carpenter Star and create our own version of it, which I've done over here. So we're going to try to do our best to reproduce this and maybe change some colors along the way. So to get to the starter quilt, I'm going to close this off, and I'm in my dashboard here. And I'm going to click on the Create Quilt button. And that gives me two options. I can either create a blank quilt or use the starter quilt. So I'm going to click on the Use as Starter Quilt button here to load the quilt onto my own account. So I'm going to start by creating the sashing that we see over here. So basically it's inserting a new column before number 3 over here, and then inserting a new column after this. So let's do that. So I'm gonna just get rid of these pink ones right here by selecting, asking the app to select the blocks. And once I select that, I'm just going to replace that with the white one over there. So now let's start with the sashing. I'm going to click onto this number 2 to bring up the options. And I'm going to insert a column before the selected column, which is over here. And then I'm going to do the same, but this time after. And so to resize it, you just click onto those two columns. I'm going to do them both at the same time. And I'm going to resize it to 2 inches. Now let's do that same with column 13. I'm going to go a little bit faster just so that I don't bore you. Okay, so we have sashing columns done. Now let's do the same with the rows. Before, and then after, and then I'm going to insert before, and then after. This time I'm going to select all 4 rows and just resize them at the same time. Alright, so there you go. So we have the grid set up. We just now need to create a block that will fill in the exact space. So I know that this is 2 inches by 5 inches, so I can either click onto the Make Custom Block, and that'll bring up the block editor, and then I have to set the size. Or I could just right click on the cell, and since I right clicked on the cell, it already knows the dimensions of the cell, and it gives me the option to create a new block that will automatically be set to 2 inches by 5 inches. So you can see the finished size is 2 by 5. So now let's fill this in with that yellow. Okay, so I just need to create a rectangle and fill it in completely. And I'm going to give it a name and call this sashing rectangle. So it automatically included that new block I created in that cell. And so I want to add this block to all of these empty cells. So I can either manually click, or I could click and drag. So both of those will work. We also have a shortcut where if you right click on any cell, you have the option to select all the cells with the same cell size. And so that helped me save a lot of clicks. And now I'm just going to add this sashing rectangle block to the selected cells. Now I'm going to do the same with this and highlight everything, and I'm also going to add the same block, but now I need to rotate them because it it's the same block but just rotated by 90 degrees. So we're almost done. We just need to create this 2 inches by 2 inch block. Drag it up to the corner and then scale it. Oops. There you go. So this time I'm going to call this slashing SQR for square. And now I'm going to ask it to select all the cells with the same cell size. And then I'm going to add to quilt. So we're almost done. I'm just going to include some binding to this. I'm going to go over to the binding or border. And I want to add a 2 inch width and 2 inch height. And I'm going to apply the same color, which is this color tag B. And I just want to play around now with some of the rotations by selecting these 4 cells over here. And I want to click onto this rotate, and that rotates everything by 90 degrees. And I'm going to drag, and I want to select these cells right here. Oops. And there we go. I'm going to rotate them. And I think I'm pretty happy with this now. I'm going to just experiment with some of this randomization color feature we have. And so I'm going to click this. And it's going to keep doing that until something interesting happens. I find this orange, those 2 tones of orange really interesting. So I'm going to go to my color tags and I'm going to lock A and C, and I'm going to continue with the randomization for B. Kind of has this autumn feeling to it right now. It's not giving anything I like, so I'm just going to go in and manually edit this. Okay, so maybe if it was a black or a dark red, or maybe a yellow or a blue, maybe a dark blue. This green is okay. Alright, so for the sake of this video, I'm just going to keep the colors, and now I'm going to download the image. And this gives me the ability to download the colors that we use here, which is Kona, 3 Kona colors. And also gives me a list of all the colors that the blocks that I use as well. And it tells me the size. And I can also download the design here. And so yeah, so this is pretty much how you would customize a starter quilt. If you have any questions about the starter quilts, or if you'd like to see any starter quilts added to the gallery, send us the email or just write them down in the comments, and we'd love to include them. So until then, we hope you enjoyed the app, and we can't wait to see what you guys design. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.